who is to blame. People will tell you, what about other places out on the road? Every nation has its peculiarities. Nigeria, I said, the elasticity of Nigerians is inexhaustible. And I have been able to track it, following it with experience. After the last civil war, no part of Nigeria wants to go to war again. Nobody. And that is why anything that happens, you talk, the next place you'll be talking is inside your room. Let it be the way it is for them. Yet, think that cycle of evil keeps on going round and round. For that community, or wherever, whether in Abuja or wherever, to come out and say, defend yourself, that is, they have found out that government is not doing enough to defend them. Now, if you are telling me, I keep on hammering on that because you saw herdsmen here, herdsmen there, and then you equate it to Islamization, I'm telling you, read more and understand what it means to Islamize the nation. Bringing in the Turkey idea does not work for Emmanuel Ndukwe. No. The reason is simple. Obidima as he is now, are you telling me, as you are, somebody could come one day and tell you, Obidima, I am telling you, you become a Muslim. Will you agree? You cannot agree. I know you.
Well, I guess it's on the person's or on the credit of a singular person approaching Obidima.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yes.
But
There's
that's why
no
you
way.
have state architecture.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that thing you are saying, I didn't want to go that way because there is no time. Federal government of Nigeria will come up and say, we are Islamizing this country. It's not possible.
Yes, but there's
we are
something
throwing
about
away our
there's
constitution.
something systematic about Islamization or
Yes.
getting a particular religion endorsed in a society.
Yes.
I'm saying this because I'm looking at other places where we've had a certain pattern initiated and it begins to erode particular views.
Maybe in the 1900.
Particular views,
Yes,
particular
not
views
now.
that the nation held previously. Like in the United States, the first time when we started hearing about, gay and lesbians and
Yes.
Yeah.
and then that community slowly began to push its
Exactly.
views.
legalized it.
Slowly
What
began
happened to Nigeria when
Excuse
it
me,
came?
excuse me.
Hold on.
When it
No,
came?
no.
It's a
Wait,
pattern.
it's
It
a
slowly
yes.
began to push his views on, and it just seemed as if you do not like them, you're now homophobic.
Yes.
And then there was now a fear of even openly condemning them or openly saying, I do not like them. Businesses were sometimes forced to take on jobs for this group of people that they didn't want to, else they'll end up in courts. Some courts approved them, some courts did not. So it was a pattern slowly adopted.
Yeah.
It wasn't as if the government of the day now says, all right, that's it. This is how it's going to be. But we saw that push across.
No,
the
I
boundaries.
agree with-
So I'm talking about religion too.
Yes.
A religion could have that sort of pattern too. I don't think it's going to be a government that will wake up and say suddenly, oh, okay, good, now this is how it's going to be. But you're slowly going to find that they tend to take views along a particular religious line. Perhaps they'll, it's okay for you to get married at 16, at 14, because, well, we believe it. And then when you now want to fight against early child marriages, like some other people believe is wrong, you might find a system that will not adopt that. If they begin to encourage it over the years and it goes on, you might find that even people who said it was not wrong, who was wrong before, will begin to see, well, there's really, I saw somebody who wrote something about it. He said, by 16, you're matured. He says, especially with the kind of food you eat and the exposure you have now. If that sort of thing begins to go, one person who used to believe that it was wrong might adopt that idea. 2 years down, you have 3, 4, 5 people who have adopted it.
You see,
It might not be a government force itself,
Yeah.
but when there's no fight to push back a certain agenda or a certain theory, it's adopted by the people.
Let's get what I said. Every nation has its peculiarity. You see, right from the beginning of Nigeria, this dichotomy exists between the professed Christians and Islam. If you understand that even the ground norm, the constitution of Nigeria, gives allowance to this, the Islamic, what do they call it?
Sharia.
Good.
Sharia.
And that is when you practice this early marriage and all the rest of it. From day one, from takeoff, is allowed. And there's no way you can change it except the constitution is tinkered with an amendment or you throw it away.
And very quickly,
So for
very,
me,
very quickly,
so
very
for me,
quickly again.
yeah.
Because I wanted to say this too, because I mean, a lot of just think when we say early marriages, we want to point up there and say, oh, they're the ones who like young girls. They might be the ones who end up marrying young girls. But over here, there's so many of us here who like to date young girls.
It's true.
So I don't see the difference. The only thing is that you made them wife.
Maybe down here, they date.
You
and
don't
not
date
marry.
them. You don't marry them.
Yeah.
I don't see men here who will look at a 16-year-old girl and say, I don't want to talk to her because she's young. As a matter of fact, they'll tell you they even want them very young. So let's not now look at it and say it's something that is only predominant in this area.
You know what?
Yes, they have made theirs into some marriage institution, but that same of perversion seen by some of us reflects
No,
both sides.
why I came up with this is just to show that the dichotomy exists from day one.
All right.
And it's enabled by the law of the nation.
Okay.
So what
It's
I'm
actually-
only saying is that the issue of saying the possibility of Islamization, it may happen maybe in the world, it might saying that it's a process.
It's a process.
Yes, but then I don't think, except otherwise, we are going to suspend this constitution.
No, what I've always felt that it's everybody has a right to a process.
Yeah.
Everybody has a right to a process.
Yeah.
What's up to you?
Annie,
To engineer your own process.
Annie,
What
That
stops
is
you
it.
from
Now,
having a
that's what I'm
process?
saying.
And
That's
you
why I
see-
brought in.
yes. When you talk of what stops you, you see that the ideologies behind these different religions are quite different.
Good. From the one.
Quite different. One is by coercive approach. One is by persuasive approach. You know, and that is where the danger comes in a secular nation, certain like Nigeria. Then the issue of the taking people out of a community and all those kind of stuff. Yes, if a lorry load of humans from maybe the north are dropped now in my community, there could be apprehension. Because, yeah, the law allows for free movement. But remember that the president of this country, Muhammadu Buhari, has even said it in recent past that these people are from Libya. They are Gaddafi.
He didn't say so.
No, excuse
No,
me.
no.
The rampage that people
No,
are
he
killing.
did not say
Yeah?
so.
There was
no-
He made that statement.
That's not what he
That's
said.
not what he said.
Okay,
no.
well, please put it
no,
rightly.
that's
Put
not
it
what
rightly.
he said.
Put it rightly. Because when they questioned him about
they are
these
foreigners.
killings, he said these are
foreigners.
He said that
foreigners.
the intel he has received
Yes.
is that some of these people in the bushes are being trained by this
Gaddafi.
boys.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes.
He didn't say that the people who are coming to the villages in their trunks are Gaddafi boys. He
Exactly.
didn't
That
say
is
so.
why if they drop
No,
people
no,
you
no.
don't know in your community, you don't know whether they are Gaddafi trained people or not.
I agree with you
So
on that.
you should
but
do
not-
something to do or push them
I
back.
agree with you on that. That the fear is that
That's
who
the
are these
least of
people
people.
comes in, but not that he told you that the people coming there are
So
Gaddafi boys.
that is
No,
the
that's
problem. If the government cannot go after this whether Gaddafi trained people or not, then the community people should do everything possible to push these Gaddafi trained people out of their place so that they'll be this. Because
They're
we
not
have never,
Gaddafi
there is
trained
this,
people. You
there-
have got to.
excuse me,
No,
you see-
Obijima, first of all, you must call it what it is. People that they don't know. You don't know who they are. So stop saying Gaddafi trained people. No.
What if
I
you
think-
tag the
I think-
Gaddafi
I think,
people and
um,
they are
I think there is.
So what is there is that we are talking of Islamization, and you should know that what is going on in the country today. If somebody like Danjuma, somebody like Obasanjo, these are generals who also get the intelligence here and there from their boys, who know the politics of this nation, the geopolitical happening in this nation, the religious politics in this nation, and all those things are coming up with this kind of information.
Could it also
It
be
is-
that? Could it be also that politics has influenced the things they're saying too? Because these people that you also mentioned are partisan politicians.
No, it's